Big thank you to Nebula for sponsoring this video. The first mayor of Toronto tried to overthrow the government. The political environment of the 1800s, to put it mildly, is almost unrecognizable to what it is today. Canada wasn't yet a country, and Toronto was just a muddy town of 9,000 people. The British colonies in this region were governed by an oligarchy, nicknamed the Family Compact, a network of influential families who controlled every facet of society from the legislature, the courts, big business, and even the banks. One vocal and at times hyperbolic journalist, named William Lyon Mackenzie, would regularly criticize this as open corruption. It was him who popularized the term Family Compact, and he became such a pariah that supporters of the government infamously stole his printing press and threw it into the lake. But Mackenzie's writing was gaining traction. He was eventually elected and installed as Toronto's first ever mayor when it incorporated in 1834. Once in office, however, it became clear Mackenzie was a much better campaigner than he was at governing. He was unwilling to work with his council and indulged in the same patronage appointments he often criticized the compact for. Not even done the first year of his term, he announced he was running for higher office, only for the Family Compact to demolish him and his Reform Party in the next election. Disillusioned and convinced the British colonial rule needed to end by any means necessary, he organized an armed rebellion with 200 militia members, and they began their march up Yonge Street. The rebellion was crushed within mere hours, and Mackenzie was forced into exile, living in the United States for most of the back half of his life. Almost 200 years and 65 mayors later, there was another rebel in office. It feels odd to compare Rob Ford to a left-wing radical like Mackenzie, but it's a comparison Ford himself invited.
Toronto's first mayor was a bit of a rebel. He was a colorful character who was not accepted by the establishment because he fought against privilege and for the little guy. My plan is to be more successful than he was.
Both men were in their element when on the outskirts of power, critiquing those in charge. But when they actually got their shot at running the show, they proved themselves to be uninterested in putting in the work. No ability to compromise, no ability to govern. Mackenzie achieved far more as a journalist than he did as mayor. And Rob Ford, well, journalists would be the end of him. And like Mackenzie, he would not go down without a fight. The Rob Ford scandal received more American news coverage than any other Canadian story in the 21st century. He is undoubtedly the most well-known Canadian mayor in history, and for all the wrong reasons. It's easy to forget in hindsight because the crack scandal has overshadowed every other aspect of his time in office. But even before the story broke in May 2013, Rob was a lame duck. He'd burned bridges with many of City Council's moderates, whose swing votes he desperately needed to pass motions. He'd recently been betrayed by a member of his own executive, Karen Stintz, who overruled him to cancel his subway plan. The gravy train he'd promised to find and eliminate never materialized. When he tried to cut city services, residents showed up in droves to protest. And worst of all for him, Olivia Chow, a former left-wing city councillor, was crushing him in polls for the 2014 election. Early 2013 was mostly business as usual at City Hall. The most interesting thing being debated was whether to put a new casino downtown. And by May, it seemed like it was a no-go. It wasn't exactly a busy news week. That's why May 16th hit the city like a truck. Gawker, an internet tabloid that loved pushing the envelope with its provocative content, had just posted a story with the following headline: "For sale, a video of Toronto Mayor Rob Ford smoking crack cocaine." The article itself reads, quote, "He smokes crack cocaine. I know this because I watched him do this on a videotape." By the end of the day, the story is backed up by the Toronto Star, which claims 2 of its reporters have also seen the video. But this went beyond just a video of the mayor smoking crack. Whoever had filmed the alleged video was asking for $100,000 in exchange for a copy. As a gesture of goodwill, the seller had given them a photo of the mayor standing with 3 men, all of whom were alleged members of the gang known as the Dixon Bloods. 2 of the men had been involved in separate shootings in March, and one of them, Anthony Smith, had died from his injuries. Mark Toohey, Rob's current chief of staff, is already doing damage control, calling up lawyers and trying desperately to get Rob on the phone. Toohey asks him if it's true. Rob responds, "There's no tape, buddy." Note his wording. He didn't say no, I've never smoked crack. He said, there's no tape. When he came into work the next day, City Hall is swarming with reporters. And for the next 6 months, everyone would be asking, did he really do it? On the one hand, the Ford family had a track record of stretching the truth about easily disprovable things, even if the stakes were incredibly low. Quote, they're prone to exaggeration at the highest level. They can't help themselves. They start flat out making stuff up. They make it up because they're frustrated they're losing the argument. Doug Sr. regularly spoke about Deco Labels as if he had founded it himself, despite having bought out his original partner. And when Rob had been escorted out of a Maple Leafs game for causing a drunken scene, he denied ever being there, despite handing out his own business cards. Quote, the mayor has always reminded me of Bart Simpson. I didn't do it. It's hard to judge the mayor as a bad person. I think he just doesn't know better. He hasn't seen any role models. Quote, if whatever is being said is offensive to the family, mother, the father, the brothers, they'll just say it's not true. Once that comes out of their mouths, it's like the word of God, and it becomes true. But a drunken night out at a hockey game is clearly small potatoes compared to smoking crack. It's easy to forget now, but until his eventual confession, Toronto was divided clean down the middle as to whether this was a media smear job or not. A survey released on June 1st says that almost half the city doesn't believe it. The only concrete evidence was the photo included in the article, but it's not like Rob was camera shy, and he wasn't even the first mayor of Toronto to pose with a member of an alleged gang. The crack video itself was just hypothetical. 3 journalists had seen something, but it was their word against the mayor's. It was doubtful they would blatantly lie about the video, but what if it had been doctored? They'd also been shown it under bizarre circumstances. Everyone quoted in the piece was anonymous, had ties to drug dealers, and were asking for an outrageous amount of money. And finally, look at the 2 outlets that broke the story. One was Gawker, a US tabloid that was no stranger to provoking controversy. And the other was the Toronto Star, a local publication that had been engaged in a years-long feud with the mayor. When the story first broke, they lost many subscriptions over it. That background is worth a recap. Toronto is the media capital of English-speaking Canada. Pretty much all the major papers and news stations are based there. And the big 4 newspapers represented a nice spread in terms of the pro-Rob and anti-Rob camps. The Toronto Star was the most vocally anti-Rob of the big 4, having endorsed George Smitherman in the 2010 race. Although, ironically, the Star had endorsed Rob a decade earlier when he first won his city council seat. The Star had been covering Rob's outbursts at council for years, but so did everyone. It wasn't until the 2010 campaign that their feud with Rob began. Negative stories were hitting him all year. The Oxy tape, his 1999 DUI, but the only one that truly got under Rob's skin was the football story. The Star ran a piece revealing that in 2001, Rob had been let go from coaching a high school team following an altercation with a player. 2 of the sources quoted described the altercation as physical, but afterwards the player in question came forward and said although they did not get along, their dispute had been purely verbal. Rob's campaign slammed the story as a smear and demanded a front-page apology. The Star refused and stood by their reporting. From that point on, the Star was blacklisted by Rob, which continued after the election. Quote, he could murder someone in the public square outside City Hall, and if the Star wrote about it first, many would think the Star made it up. All other outlets were given press releases from the mayor's office, except for the Star. Their reporters never got called on for questions. At this point, the feud was mostly a Cold War, but it transitioned into a hot one in May 2012, when Rob filed a request to purchase a piece of public parkland adjoining his house. Throughout his term, Rob had kept his family life extremely private. His wife and kids were almost never in public with him, and he rarely let his own staff in his house. At one point in early 2012, his sister's former partner had entered his house demanding money. He was later sent to jail for uttering death threats against the mayor. Purchasing the nearby land was intended to improve their privacy and their safety. Star reporter Daniel Dale decided to go view the land in person, since the plot itself was public. He was standing in the park when the mayor came rushing up to him and accused him of taking pictures of his kids. Dale, taken aback, tried to explain why he was there, but with the mayor getting up in his face, he dropped his phone and recorder and ran off. Rob immediately called the press and painted this as yet another reason the Star's reporting could not be trusted. Police investigated and found no photos of the mayor's kids on Dale's phone, and security footage showed Dale never even got close to the mayor's backyard fence. A year later, Dale will sue the mayor, prompting Rob to respond, quote, I wholly retract my statements and apologize to Mr. Dale without reservation for what I said. But in a media environment as chaotic as this one, many residents still took the mayor's side. For the next year or so, the Star's reporters will continue to investigate the mayor's behavior outside City Hall. One of them in particular, municipal affairs reporter Robin Doolittle, will end up chasing a rabbit hole that led to the infamous crack tape. Much of the behind-the-scenes details are recounted in her book Crazy Town, which is well worth a read. Her investigation started out with something quite bland: the mayor's official schedule. By early 2013, it was suspiciously short. He did have a tendency to miss a bunch of council sessions to go coach his football team, but even that didn't account for all the gaps. Sometimes he'd be scheduled for an event, but would send his brother Doug in his place. And then you had the rumors. People on Twitter would mention random sightings of the mayor at night. There was a photo of him looking quite disheveled posing with a bachelorette party. But none of these encounters were substantial enough that the Star could run a story on. The exceptions were two nights in particular. On St. Patrick's Day 2012, Rob went to a downtown bar with his staff called the Beer Market. An employee there claimed to have seen Rob snort cocaine in the bathroom, and he contacted the Star as a source. Allegedly, Rob was later seen acting aggressively towards his entourage before they got him to leave. When Rob's staff were eventually interviewed by the police, more details would come out about this night. Next was the Garrison Ball, which was held almost a year later in February 2013. This is a formal event meant to honor combat veterans. Reports claimed that the mayor had shown up late to the event while inebriated, with his kids in the car with him, although he was not the one driving. Allegedly, members of his staff were asked to get the mayor to leave, and he eventually did. The Star ran a piece on March 26 that collected all of these past allegations of the mayor's drinking problems. The headline even included, quote, "Inner Circle repeatedly urged mayor to enter rehab." The mayor's office and the rest of Team Blue hit back against the Garrison Ball accusations, claiming no one had directly asked the mayor to leave, which technically was true. His chief of staff, Mark Toohey, had been asked by Councillor Paul Ainsley to get the mayor to leave. A technicality. Ainsley was the only source willing to go on the record, saying he felt the mayor was in an unfit state, and at least 8 people came up to him saying as much. Once a member of Team Blue, this causes a major rift, and Ainsley is sidelined from the executive. Doug will leave a voicemail calling him, quote, "a political whore." For the next 2 months, the Star is public enemy number 1, with Doug Ford going on his radio show to take direct shots at the Star's editor-in-chief. In early April, Robin Doolittle got a phone call from a man named Mohammed Farah. He was acting as a middleman for someone who claimed to have filmed a video of the mayor smoking crack. The dealer, who recorded it in secret, had been spooked by the recent death of Anthony Smith. They wanted money so they could move and escape the gang environment. How much money did they want? $100K. Farah stressed that they needed the money for protection, since releasing the video could cause other gang members to retaliate on them. After weeks of building trust with the source and promising anonymity, the Star eventually told Farah they would consider paying some amount of money for the tape, but they would have to see it first. So after weeks of nearly being ghosted, Robin Doolittle and Kevin Donovan sat in a car with Farah and watched the video 3 times. The video clearly showed Rob Ford. That was indisputable. He was holding what looked like a crack pipe, but there was no way to know what was inside.
No, they say I'm this right-wing, radical fucking guy.
Sure. Oh yeah. What the fuck is the Liberals then?
He ranted about politics and Justin Trudeau, while a woman rambled off screen. After more internal debates with the Star's leadership, it was decided they wouldn't pay for the video, no matter the amount. They would sit on the story, hoping Farah would eventually decide to just give them the video, or if they found supporting evidence. But as Farah had warned them, he'd been soliciting other offers. A reporter from Gawker had also been shown the video, and they happily pulled the trigger on the story. They were going to try and publicly crowdfund donations to buy the tape. With the cat out of the bag, the Star scrambled to publish their story before the midnight printing deadline. The story is everywhere. The late-night hosts are having a field day. On the 22nd, Rob is officially fired by Don Bosco High School as the coach of their football team. Doug claims, quote, never has a Canadian politician or his family been targeted by the media this way." The day after that, Chief of Staff Mark Toohey is fired. Within a week, Gawker has crowdfunded $165,000 to buy the video, but they announced that the seller has cut off contact with them. Under the immense pressure from all the media, Rob's executive team begs him to respond to the allegations. This is his official statement, which he will stick to for months.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to take this opportunity to address a number of issues that have circulated in the media over the last few days. There has been a serious accusation from the Toronto Star that I use crack cocaine. I do not use crack cocaine, nor am I an addict of crack cocaine.
And that was how the summer in Toronto kicked off. Allegations alone would never get Rob Ford to willingly step down, and even if council were united against him, Spoiler, they weren't. They don't have any legal mechanism to force him out. Over the past year, Rob had demonstrated he was the mayor with 9 lives. Critics had been trying to boot him from office for years, and although they came shockingly close, they hadn't been able to seal the deal. If it feels like there's a large missing gap in the story during the latter half of 2012, you're not wrong. Rob spent much of that time distracted from his work because of 3 separate legal cases, one of which almost ended his mayoral career. The first was a complaint over his campaign expenses. The city hired an auditor to review his campaign, and found that they had overspent the $1.3 million limit by $40K. Although the law stipulates that a major finance violation could be grounds for removal from office, the city's compliance audit committee voted 2-1 not to pursue any charges. The second was a libel suit. While he was campaigning for mayor, Rob would often rail against sole-sourced contracts, and implied on a few occasions that there were backroom deals going on, and that councillors were greasing the wheels for their friends. He even went so far as to use the word corruption at one point. The owner of a waterfront restaurant sued Rob for defamation, since the city had just renewed a 20-year lease with him. After months at trial, the case was ultimately ruled in Rob's favor, because he did not specifically name the restaurant when implying corruption. Both of those cases were at worst distractions for Rob, but the third came exceedingly close to ending the Ford dynasty, and it all traced back to his love of football. Football was the one thing the left-wing councillors were able to bond with him over, as he'd often recruit them into his fantasy league. And then there were the high school students he coached.
I get these kids, they're in gangs, I get them out of gangs, get them on into a school, give them a sport they love to play, football, and they get an education.
Rob had even founded a charity for his players to help cover equipment and fees. The thing is, there are actually many programs just like this run by the city, except whenever funding for those programs got voted on, Rob tried to shut them down. He derisively called them hug-a-thug programs. Meanwhile, his charity, on the other hand, that was different. If not for his team, Rob claimed once, some of his players would be dead or in jail. The charity itself was above board, but what caused the trouble was the fact that Rob would send out donation requests on official city letterhead, with Councillor Rob Ford listed on top. One resident filed a complaint with the city's integrity officer. Eventually, she ordered that Rob had to repay around $3,000 in donations to 11 lobbyists, something she technically did not have the authority to enforce, and so he refused to do so. Council voted 26-10, telling him to return it, but he refused to pay it back on principle, saying that it had gone to helping kids in need. Quote, "There's no one that helps black youth more than Rob Ford. If I don't get reelected for helping kids, then I feel sorry for the city. I really do." Later, during his second year as mayor, council voted once again on whether Rob should be forced to repay the money.
People who had business with the city were having their names entered into a mailing list, and that mailing list was being used to ask them to donate to a foundation that belonged to a politician. People felt that if they did not make those donations, there would be consequences to the issues they had in front of council.
I do not sign the checks, I have nothing to do with the money, they go directly, and they get a tax receipt. If there's anything that's more clear and above board, I don't know what this is. And if it wasn't for this foundation, these kids would not have had a chance.
And it's not as if the mayor as a councillor in previous terms wasn't warned about this. It is so critically important for us to not say, it's a good program, we don't need to worry about the ethics and the integrity of council, he's a good guy. It's not about whether Rob Ford is a good or a bad guy. It's about whether or not very particular rules that are put in place for a very particular reason are being followed.
And then to ask for me to pay it out of my own pocket personally, there's no sense to this. The money's gone. The money's been spent on football equipment. I haven't had one complaint. All I get is a tremendous amount of thanks. There's the letterhead. It's Rob Ford. There's no mayor on here. At the beginning, when I used to use counselor, I was wrong. I took all that off. It's not City Hall address. It's all 100% private. You read this letter, you wouldn't have no idea that I was a politician. If you didn't know.
This time, they ended up voting 22-12 that no, he shouldn't have to. Rob's critical mistake was that instead of acknowledging a conflict of interest, he voted on a motion that directly involved himself. A resident later sued him over this, and Rob was forced to admit in court that despite being a councillor for 10 years, he'd never once read the conflict of interest guidelines. The judge found him guilty, and the punishment was full removal from office, to the shock of pretty much everyone. What an abrupt and anticlimactic end to Mayor Rob Ford. It is a very blunt instrument, said the judge, who found the all-or-nothing punishment troubling, but that was the law. A full removal from office felt like an overreach given the small financial amount. Until an appeal was resolved, he'd be allowed to stay in office, which gave him at least 2 more months, during which his executive openly debated whether they'd need to hold a by-election to replace him. In January, though, the appeal went his way. To summarize, although Ford voting on a motion that involved himself was a conflict of interest, that judge found that council did not have the authority to hold that vote in the first place. The two wrongs actually canceled each other out. Although his political sway had clearly diminished since he was first elected, and his approvals were down in the dumps, legally, he was quite well entrenched in the mayor's office. Unlike the federal level, where a prime minister can be turfed by their own party, or an election gets called, Rob would almost certainly be the mayor until the next election in 2014. Short of him being convicted of a crime, there was basically no surefire way to remove him, and there would be no charges laid without a video. With so much breaking news every single day, it's easy to overlook the firing of Rob's chief of staff, Mark Toohey. The reason he was fired is absolutely not what you're predicting and will sound quite silly, but once he was out the door, it was a clear turning point. If you stayed in the mayor's office, you were no longer enacting policy, you were running damage control. 5 more staff members will resign by the end of the month, including Rob's press secretary, deputy press secretary, executive assistant, special assistant, and a policy advisor. Rob will replace them all with new hires, most of whom turned out to be former football players of his, and most of them had no prior experience working in politics. This was the culmination of months of dysfunction within the mayor's office. His staff had long suspected that the mayor had a substance abuse problem, although they likely did not know the full extent of it. Most timelines point to his substance abuse problem starting in early 2012 and ramping up significantly by the end of the year. Remember that during 2012, his coalition had rebelled against him and his legal troubles were piling up, so his stress levels would have been at an all-time high. But even prior to this, Rob was not an easy boss to work for. Besides being checked out of the actual nitty-gritty of policy work, he was just checked out in general. Sheila Paxton, a former policy advisor, recalls one particular moment. He's so unaware of what's around him, or other people's feelings. Like, I'm sitting in his office and he says, "My balls are itchy. I've got to scratch my balls. I've got to scratch my balls." Rob, who famously slashed his own office budget, severely underpaid his employees. He played favorites, often paying some employees more for the same job, with the difference being as high as $10,000 per year. 3 of his staffers had previously worked for the Liberal Party, and he'd complain about them despite no signs they'd ever undermined him. Rob demanded extreme loyalty. His former executive assistant, Andrew Pask, had worked for him as a counselor, only to leave for a new job in the private sector after 7 years of service. Nonetheless, Rob viewed this as a betrayal. Rob would pit employees against each other, telling stories about something one person said about another. Toohey argues it fostered an environment of paranoia, where no one fully trusted each other. He always felt like Amir Rumtullah was withholding information from him, as if he was angling for his job. It didn't help that Doug was always trying to get a foothold in the mayor's office by getting his friends jobs there. In classic Rob fashion, he hated to spend even a single cent of his office budget. If a staff member came to him with an expense, he'd pay them in cash on the spot, using his own money. This ritual was considered humiliating, and staff began just paying for expenses out of their own pockets instead. Despite his years-long crusade not to waste the taxpayers' dollars, Rob had gradually begun to indulge in practices he would have raged against as a counselor. He'd often bring his 2 kids to work with him, and it would fall to his staff to babysit them. And at least until September 2012, he'd been sending a staff member to personally deliver a sandwich from a specific store to his daughter's elementary school each day, a process that took over 2 hours. Staff were known to quote-unquote volunteer to help coach his football team, and on a few occasions they would come to his house to help fix a computer, do laundry, or take the kids to soccer practice. One time a staffer even booked a vacation for Rob's family on their own credit card. There were a number of smaller but still questionable uses of the mayor's office for Rob's personal interests. When Deco was celebrating its 50th anniversary, Rob had a city crew repair potholes outside the business. Or when his football team had a rough game, he asked for the TTC to send a bus to pick them up. Except what happened was a bus full of passengers was rerouted, forcing them to get off. Rob kept a crazy sleep schedule. In an interview with well-respected Canadian journalist, Deadmau5, Rob is asked if he drinks much coffee. Rob says a little. Minutes later, he orders 5 shots of espresso in 1 cup. Just like when he was a counselor, he'd return as many constituent phone calls as possible, except he'd often call people past midnight, waking them up. The late night calls extended to his staff too. Depending on the call, he'd either criticize them for not doing enough work, he'd complain about someone else who was not doing enough work, and then there was the third kind. Rob would be in a state of distress. He'd be rambling incoherently, apologizing for some vague mistake he'd apparently made. One call to a staff member, he was at his father's grave, and he was actively sobbing. One phone call, which Rob made to Mark Toohey, was particularly troubling. After hearing what sounded like an argument between Rob and his wife Renata, Toohey begins to write down notes, which he recounts in his book. Rob appears to be accusing Renata of cheating on him. During a rant, Rob tells Toohey, "I swear to God, I'm going to kill this woman." Toohey types in 911 into another phone, but does not hit dial. After they continue to fight, Rob eventually says something about, quote, putting 3 bullets in her head. Toohey again does not call 911 and instead tries to talk Rob down. Eventually, Rob and Renata stop fighting, and Rob rambles to Toohey for over an hour, mentioning things like heroin and weed. The call finally ends at 4 in the morning. Starting in late 2011, Rob began seeing an addiction counselor for around a year. The counselor was a supporter of his during the campaign, and they had informal private conversations. As Rob became increasingly distracted, Doug was the only one who could talk some sense into him and get him back on track. Despite their rivalry, Doug was family, and Rob listened to Doug. But even that stopped working. Toohey describes how near the end of his time, he and other staffers were making decisions like midterm committee appointments because Rob just wasn't around to do them. The Ford family had a public history with drugs and alcohol. Kathy has struggled with heroin, and Randy had several criminal charges, including intoxicated driving and drug possession. And even before he was mayor, there were documented instances of Rob being intoxicated in public, like his 1999 DUI conviction and the hockey game incident where he verbally berated a couple. Of the Ford siblings, only Doug seems to be stone cold sober. Rob had a habit of frequenting liquor stores so often that the public began to notice. To prevent bad press, his staff began purchasing alcohol on his behalf whenever he asked for it. His staff identified a tell in his behavior when he had done something bad. He'd be super accommodating, doing anything they told him, whereas normally he had a habit of being quite stubborn. Usually this meant he'd been out on a bender the night before. But if you had to identify a turning point, it was St. Paddy's Day. The version of St. Paddy's Day 2012 that was published in the press was a toned-down version compared to the one told by his staff to the police much later. Allegedly, it started earlier than the beer market, when Rob walked into his office with 2 friends and they started drinking heavily. At one point, Rob and his entourage wanted to smoke a joint in his office, and Earl Provo had to shut them down. They eventually left and did head to the beer market in a taxi, but Rob hurled racial slurs at the cab driver, mocked him using fake language noises, only to then say, quote, "I'm Rob Ford, the mayor of Toronto. If there's anything I can do for you, call me anytime." And he tossed business cards at him. They get to the beer market, he's loud enough to draw some attention, and his staff manage to convince him to go back to City Hall. As the party and drinking continues back in his office, he refers to his staffers as liberal hacks. At this point, Rob allegedly became physically violent, pushing one staffer off a couch and pinning another against a wall. After they calmed him down, Olivia Gondek walks in and he begins to speak to her in an incredibly crude, sexual manner. She chastises him and tells him to go home. His staff get him into a taxi and escort him home, only for Rob to immediately jump into his own car and speed off into the night. Toohey says there was an official staff policy that if the mayor was ever behind the wheel of a car, staff were not allowed to ride with him because they could never be sure he was sober. Amir Ramtella also, quote, had concerns about the mayor's tendency to drink and drive. Every chief of staff kept a master list of rehab facilities ready to go just in case. At one point in November 2012, Kuvalis tried to stage an intervention with the help of Rob's family, but they had no success. According to Sheila Paxton, Rob had a habit of soft firing people, only to walk back that decision later. She recounts an example where he was sweaty during a speech, and when she didn't have a handkerchief on hand to give it to him, he blew up at her, screaming that she was fired. But he never followed through. There was only one exception to this rule. Football meant everything to Rob. The kids he coached were so near and dear to his heart, he nearly got sued out of office over them. So when he was fired by Don Bosco Secondary School, it broke him. When Mark Toohey called him, he was sobbing. Later that day, Toohey found out Rob was trying to organize a pizza party at his house for the players on his team, and Rob's staff were being ordered to help. He told the mayor no. Rob blew up on him, telling him not to come back into work. Toohey was fired. The next day, he's escorted out of City Hall by security. With Toohey gone, the mayor's office was rudderless. In the midst of this chaos, in mid-June, the Toronto police carry out a series of raids on suspected members of the Dixon City Bloods. They arrest 19 people on a variety of drug and weapons charges. The code name of this initiative was Project Traveler. At least in official press briefings, these raids had nothing to do with the ongoing scandal involving the mayor. Police Chief Bill Blair explicitly denies a link. But behind the scenes, sources have told the Toronto Star the opposite. As it will be revealed later, not only were the Toronto police aware of the crack tape's existence long before it hit the news, but that one of the items seized in the raids was a laptop. And on that laptop was a video file. Rob's relationship with the Toronto police is worth a quick look. The mayor does not have direct control over the police, that's the chief's job. But obviously, the mayor and the councillors he appoints to the police board do get a say in the police budget, which could be a conflict of interest if the mayor were ever the target of an investigation. Rob has long portrayed himself as a tough-on-crime politician, even when he was first running for council. He told the media he and his dad used to go around, leaving notes on cars belonging to people they suspected of buying drugs. "Don't come back," the note said. When someone suggested auditing police overtime requests, he went ballistic during a council session. When Toronto hosted the G20 summit in 2010, the police were widely criticized for using excessive force on protesters. They were caught beating protesters on camera and holding people for days without questioning. Much of council, but especially Rob, proudly came to their defense. In fact, he argued, quote, "Our police were too nice." When he was running for mayor, one of Rob's campaign promises had been to hire 100 new officers. This was notable because it was the only department where he wanted to increase the size of the workforce. When he directed every department to cut its budget by 10% across the board, Police Chief Bill Blair came to him and, against all odds, walked away with a 0.6% increase. And there were several allegations that Rob had been pulled over for drinking and driving, but never charged. Instead, the officers had driven him home and let him off with just a warning. When Gawker published their crack story, within days the police had formed a new task force, Project Brazen 2, focusing entirely on Rob Ford. The police began interviewing past and present members of Rob's staff, who detailed their suspicions about his substance abuse problems. They also began regular surveillance of the mayor's family, as well as one particular member of the mayor's staff, Sandro Lisi, Rob's personal driver. Interviews with Rob's other staff suggested he was the one supplying the mayor with illegal drugs. The Star and several other outlets were investigating their own leads, which included finding the house pictured in the photograph. The Star eventually found it by driving around Etobicoke. It was a home on Windsor Road that belonged to a Lena Basso. Her son Fabio had been friends with Rob since high school. It was her basement that the video was filmed in, and her daughter Elena was the voice you could hear off screen. Both Elena and Fabio had criminal records involving drugs and guns, respectively. Meanwhile, on May 25th, the Globe and Mail ran a story about the other Ford siblings using anonymous sources from Etobicoke. Allegedly, back in the 1980s, both Randy and Doug were hashish dealers. Randy had a public history of over a dozen criminal charges, including one for a drug-related kidnapping. But until this story, Doug had never been suspected of any drug-related activity. Doug threatens to sue over the story, but never does. Relevant to this story is a high school friend who is identified as, quote, a former participant in Doug Ford's hashish empire, David Price. In early 2013, Price had been hired on as Rob's new director of logistics. When the crack story broke, Price began to try and track down a copy of the tape. In a phone call to Mark Toohey, he suggests that the murder of Anthony Smith could be related to the crack tape. This would turn out not to be the case. Smith's death was later found to be unrelated. But this conversation is what caused Toohey to give an interview with the police. Evidence begins to pile up of Rob's substance abuse issues. For the first time, he's caught on a widely circulated video showing him drunk at a food festival. Rob is ducking the press, and Doug is caught on camera calling them, quote, a bunch of pricks. In early October, Sandro Lisi is charged by the police with marijuana possession and trafficking, as well as conspiracy. What the rumors are saying is that he had tried to extort someone in order to obtain a copy of the crack tape. In late October, a judge rules that police records related to Project Traveler should be made public. On Halloween 2013, hours before the documents go public, Rob is swarmed with reporters on his driveway.
Please let him get off my my driveway.
off your
Can you get
property.
off my property, please?
Right, you don't
Don't get off my property.
leaving.
Can get off my property?
I'm leaving.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Get off my property. Thank you.
We're off your property.
Thank you very much.
Tell us about your investigation.
What don't you understand? Get off the property, partner.
Police Chief Bill Blair is set to do a press conference later that day. He takes a meandering route to get there, but eventually he says this.
As a result, I have been advised that we are now in possession of a recovered digital video file. That file contains video images which appear to be those images which were previously reported in the press.
Reporters at the Star are now vindicated. Although still not public yet, the video will eventually become public as part of various criminal proceedings. Surely, after all of this, Rob would just admit to being on the tape. A poll shows 60% of Toronto wants him to resign, but he just doesn't want to give up.
Well, good afternoon. I think everybody's seen the allegations against me today. I wish I could come out and defend myself. Unfortunately, I can't because it's before the courts, and that's all I can say right now.
Is he actually still fighting this? Is he serious? The next week is even more unmitigated chaos. Rob, who is still denying that this tape exists, tries to goad Bill Blair into releasing it to the public. He also threatens to sue former members of his staff for what they said in police interviews, although he never follows through on this. He directly addresses the allegation that he sexually harassed his staffer, Olivia Gondak, leading to this infamous clip.
Oh, and the last thing was Olivia Gondak. It says that I wanted to eat her pussy. Olivia Gondak. I've never said that in my life to her. I would never do that. I'm happily married. I've got more than enough to eat at home. Thank you very much.
No, you did not mishear him. Later, on November 5th, Doug accuses Bill Blair of having a politically motivated agenda against the mayor, saying he should step down until the investigation is over. When Blair threatens to sue Doug for libel, Doug will be forced to issue a public apology. And Rob? Well, Rob has had an idea. He calls Earl Provo, his beleaguered new chief of staff, and says, I'm going to blow their minds.
You asked me a couple questions, and what were those questions?
Do you smoke crack cocaine?
Exactly. Yes, I have smoked crack cocaine.
When,
But
sir?
no, do I? Am I an addict? No.
When have you
Have I
smoked crack
tried it? Probably in one of my drunken stupors, probably approximately about a year ago. So I wasn't lying. You didn't ask the correct questions. No, I'm not an addict. And no, I do not do drugs.
This subtle wordplay is lost on the press, who are all stunned at what he has just admitted to. Surely, this is it. He's done. It's over. He's stepping down. But no, he is still going to fight. He will have his last stand. On the 7th, the Star releases a video of Rob ranting in someone's house, saying he wants to kill someone. It's unclear who.
He dies or I die, brother. I'm talking to brother, you've never seen me brother. You think so, brother? But when he's down there, I'll throat out, I'll poke his eyes out, I will dead, I'll make sure that let's make sure he's dead.
Since his surprise admission, all of Rob's executive had abandoned him. Most of council wants him to resign, and even those who won't go that far are begging him to go to rehab. Denzel Minan Wong says, quote, he's lost the moral authority to lead. Both the left and right wing are united for the first time since he was elected. Back during Rob's honeymoon period, Adam Vaughn had predicted this moment as inevitable. Quote, we just need to wait until he falls down. Then we don't let him up. In Canada, you cannot remove a mayor from office unless they've committed a criminal offense, and even then, it had to be a serious one. Even after his admission, Rob had not been charged with a crime, and he never will be. The Ontario legislature technically has the power to remove any local official, but that was considered a Pandora's box. No one wanted to set a dangerous precedent. So one of two things can happen. Rob either resigns willingly, or council is going to strip him of every ounce of power and influence they legally can. He will be mayor in name only. Councillor John Filion began the process days ago, consulting with city staff to draft the necessary motions. There will be 3 special meetings and 3 votes to strip his powers. Legally, Rob was entitled to a bare-bones budget, so he'd be left with a skeleton crew. All of this they could do under the City of Toronto Act because these are privileges council delegates to the mayor. If council has lost confidence in the mayor, they can take it away from him.
But I'm hoping that things go through relatively quickly and quietly.
Doug Ford says he's expecting a bloodbath. Are you expecting that?
That hasn't been my counsel to those who have talked with me. The sooner we get through this, the sooner we get back to the business of the city of Toronto.
Before the meeting can even begin, Rob got up close and personal, physically blocking the path of Denzel Minen Wong, a former ally who had turned on him.
The mayor stopped me, blocked my path. He physically stood in my way. He ordered me to sit down. He stood in my way and blocked my path in a threatening way, in a way that I have never experienced on my time on this council.
You're too much, buddy.
I have nothing to apologize. I want him to follow proper protocol and sit in his seat when people are asking questions. I did absolutely nothing wrong besides asking him to take his seat like you do every 10 times a meeting. You tell members to take their seat.
Mayor Ford,
Take their seat when people are asking questions. That's all I did.
Mr. Mayor, have you purchased illegal drugs in the last 2 years?
Yes, I have.
Thank you.
When one councillor calls the house in the video a crack house, Rob gets upset.
No, sir. That is not a crack house.
What should, sorry?
That is not a crack house.
And what is it? Is it
It is a house with a family, with a father and a mother and 3 sons and a daughter. It is not a crack house. Have you visited the house? Have you walked in the house?
No, actually,
no,
I
you
have
haven't.
not, and I have no
so
interest,
you're listening to what the media
That's
said.
my
I'm not being
problem
truthful.
with
Have you
respect
been
to
into
your
that
answer.
house?
I have no interest in being in that house. I'm not a crack user.
So,
Rob will try and defend his actions with little success.
Well, with respect to your behavior at the Air Canada Centre, you said that conduct would not be repeated. Can we assume that the conduct has been repeated because you've stated on numerous occasions, to use your words, that you were inebriated?
Councillor, I've admitted to my mistakes, and I said it would not happen again, and it has never happened again at the Air Canada Centre.
Do you think you have an addiction problem with alcohol?
Absolutely not. This one isolated picture in front of a garage was a one-off picture. I'm not part of gangbangers. I do not support them. But when someone comes out and says, let's take a picture, I will take a picture. I met those people once, and I've never seen them again. I'm not an addict of any sort. I'm not quite sure why you're saying I need help. I sincerely apologize. I understand the embarrassment I caused every member of this council. I understand the embarrassment that I've caused every resident in the city. I'm humiliated by it, but I cannot change the past, Councillor Thompson.
Council is unfazed.
Okay, so we should have a double standard. If employees, if they make a mistake, we should fire them. But if a mayor make a mistake, sincerely apologize and let him keep going.
Nothing is ever right or wrong, just with me or against me. That loyalty is personal, not professional, and the acid test of personal loyalty is abetting denial by looking the other way.
In the past, you've voted against and spoken against Board of Health substance abuse programs, and your advice for how to deal with people who'd smoked crack was give them a gun. Have you learned anything about understanding and compassion?
Councillor, this has definitely been the most humiliating experience that I have ever went through in my entire life. The only other day that was worse than probably a couple of days last year was when my dad died.
As a councillor, Rob had been a zealot in the war on drugs. Addicts got zero sympathy from him. And yet here he was now, begging desperately for a second chance. The first vote goes 39-3. The next day, John Filion goes to Rob and says he wouldn't submit the motions to strip the last of his powers if he agreed to go to rehab. Rob maintains that his doctor says that won't be necessary. The next vote comes up. 42-1. Throughout the debates, while Rob has been mostly on defense, Doug has been on the attack.
How much is this costing the taxpayers of Toronto? It shouldn't be happening with I'm getting to my question, thank you. Okay, Councillor Ainsley, you got your own issues.
Councillor
So I wouldn't
Ford.
be saying too much.
Councillor Ford, please.
I did not threaten anyone. What I said is good luck to Councillor Cho in the next election. Our democratic right here, folks, in the city agree or disagree with Rob. This is a slippery slope, and this council is trampling over every single person's democratic right in this city. Have you ever smoked marijuana? Hold it. Have you ever smoked marijuana? It's a question. It's simple. A yes or a no. Have you smoked marijuana?
Okay.
The answer, I guess, is yes. The answer is yes, I guess.
Councillor Ford.
I would like everyone else to stand up.
Councillor.
Who tried smoking marijuana.
Councillor Ford.
The whole council will stand up.
Councillor Ford.
Don't come across that you're holier than that.
The council chamber, which is filled with rowdy spectators, eventually reaches a boiling point. The speaker tries to calm things down with a recess, which backfires. As the audience begins to chant in unison, Rob and Doug approach them and start yelling themselves.
Mayor Ford. 10-minute recess. 10-minute recess. No. 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 This.
Doug calls someone a punk, and another councillor tries to rein him in. Rob sees his brother becoming agitated and rushes over, moving so fast he knocks over Councillor Pam McConnell to the ground. He's asked to apologize, but he refuses. Near the end of the multi-hour session, Rob has his closing remarks.
Folks, this is nothing more. This is nothing more than a coup d'etat. I think a lot of you don't know my dad or remember my dad, but he was a Bible school teacher. He who has never sinned shall cast the first stone, son. This, folks, reminds me of when I was watching it with my brother when Saddam attacked Kuwait. And President Bush said, I warn you, I warn you, I warn you, do not. Well, folks, if you think American-style politics is nasty, you guys have just attacked Kuwait. Mark my words, friends, this is going to be outright war in the next election.
He ends his speech by saying he will not be resigning. Council is not convinced by the arguments. They vote to take away his office budget 36-5. Later, Doug will tell the press, quote, "It was kind of like what they did to Jesus." In the coming weeks, council will meet again to bestow all the mayoral powers to Deputy Mayor Norm Kelly, a former member of Team Blue. For all intents and purposes, he will be the mayor, just without the title. The nightmare that has gripped Toronto is finally over. Sanity will slowly begin to return to City Hall. And yet, he is not done fighting. The day that registration opens, he's the first in line. He's gonna give the people what they want. 4 more years. Under normal circumstances, Rob Ford would be the favorite to win re-election. The incumbent advantage is incredibly strong in Canadian municipal elections. Name recognition is everything. The one exception to that is an incumbent bogged down by scandal. But then again, Rob Ford's approval rating actually went up when the crack video was confirmed to exist, and the only other case of a big city mayor smoking crack suggested this wasn't such a long shot. DC Mayor Marion Barry served time in prison and yet was still re-elected once he got out. And I mean, John A. Macdonald was Prime Minister, and he was notorious for showing up to Parliament so drunk he could barely talk or stand. And he's the guy on the $10 bill. Rob had built an indestructible wall of support in the outer suburbs of Scarborough, North York, and of course, Etobicoke. That was Ford Nation. They didn't care about his personal failings. That was his business. They liked that he cut their taxes, took on the unions, and he was the one who promised to build Scarborough a subway. And even after council had just stripped him of his powers, he started out the year with some good PR. A snowstorm and power outage hit Toronto, and he went door to door checking on people. This was the version of Rob Ford people had originally fallen in love with. That version of Rob Ford still resonated with people. The question was whether they could look past all of this. Just like the previous mayoral race, this one was excruciatingly long. Registration opens in January, but voting day isn't until October. At its peak, there were 85 people running for mayor, a record, but only 11 of them have Wikipedia entries. This included the typical bizarre range of stunt candidates, from a dominatrix to the exact same white supremacist as last time. Karen Stintz, Rob's rebellious TTC chair, tried to run as a more moderate conservative, but she was never able to climb above 4th place and withdrew in September. The issue for most other candidates is that Rob Ford sucked up all of the oxygen in the room. No one wanted to hear about policy. The media, especially the media from other countries, only wanted to know what crazy antics the famous crack-smoking mayor of Toronto was getting up to each week. And he made sure they had no shortage of material. In January, he's filmed drunk at a restaurant speaking Jamaican patois.
I said, bro, for a minute, my eyes, leave me alone, man. They got 5 months for me.
Hulk Hogan came to town and let Rob beat him in an arm wrestling match. He flies out to California to go on Jimmy Kimmel's show, where he's relentlessly mocked. The brothers start a brief feud with Kevin Spacey, who was the other guest on the show that night. Doug said, quote, "He's an arrogant SOB. In this very particular case, we'll give the win to the Fords." In March, he is caught on tape saying the following, quote, "Nobody sticks up for people like I do." He then proceeds to say 4 different racial slurs, followed by, "Nobody does. I'm the most racist guy around. I'm the mayor of Toronto." And in April, he is recorded at a bar making sexually explicit comments about Karen Stintz. Quote, "I'd like to fucking jam her, but she don't want it." He later apologizes to her for the remarks. The crazy part was, and maybe we should stop being surprised by this, his polling was pretty much constant, regardless of what he did. In the most backwards part of this whole ordeal, his polling only went down when he finally decided to go to rehab. In April, reporters have seen a second video of him smoking crack, this time filmed in his sister's basement. The dam breaks and he finally admits he needs professional help. He's gone for 2 months, during which he repays his salary to the city. This appears to have spawned a myth that he donated his salary for his entire term, which is not true. While he was away, city life went on without him. Garbage got picked up. Water kept running. The only difference is he wasn't making daily headlines in the tabloids. And as soon as he comes back, he jumps right back into campaigning. As a show of good faith, he's given back his mayoral powers by council. Just like last time, only the top 3 candidates in the race were real contenders. There was Rob, of course, and then there was a candidate pretty much everyone had been speculating about. Olivia Chow entered the race fairly early on, and with a commanding lead. Not only was she a former Toronto City Councillor and a sitting MP, but her late husband was Jack Layton. In 2011, he had led the left-wing NDP to its best ever electoral result, launching it from 4th place irrelevancy to the official opposition. His personal likability was off the charts, and it seemed like he had upended Canadian politics as people knew it. Except just months after the election, he passed away from prostate cancer. The public outpouring of support was immense, and even 3 years later, Chow was benefiting from a wave of public sympathy. When she officially launched in March, she was the clear frontrunner, but somewhere along the line, she faltered. No one can quite pinpoint when it happened. She began dropping in the polls week by week. Maybe you can blame the sheer length of the campaign. Keeping up momentum into the summer is a marathon. And so while Rob is in rehab and Chow's lead begins to shrink, a third candidate starts to come from behind. Yet another familiar face. John Tory, the runner-up in 2003, and the candidate that very nearly ran in 2010, and likely would have beaten Rob. His electoral record up until now is a bit of a comedy of errors. After getting a lot of the blame for running a disastrous federal campaign in 1993 and losing the 2003 mayoral race, he then went on to be the leader of the provincial Conservatives. His only election win to this point was a by-election in the safest PC seat in the province. But in the next election, he lost his seat, and then he lost again when he tried to run in another by-election. Despite voters rejecting him 3 times now, people still seem to like Tory. He seemed to have business chops as the former CEO of Rogers and sat on the boards of plenty of charities. He was the friendly guy they heard on the radio every day, and he's often credited with saving the Canadian Football League. And at this particular moment in Toronto's history, he was the one thing that voters seemed to be craving. He was boring, drab, vanilla. You could cut his hair with a ruler. His last name is literally generic slang for right-wing politician. Not the kind of mayor who will be in the tabloids every week. So as summer turned to fall and the registration deadline passed, John Tory seemed to win over many of Olivia Chow's left-wing voters who desperately wanted to avoid a Rob Ford rerun at all costs, the lesser of two evils. He also had an ace up his sleeve. Rob's former campaign manager, Nick Kouvalis, had switched sides and joined Tory's campaign as a Ford whisperer. He was going to help Tory win over Ford Nation voters because, in his own words, quote, "I am Ford Nation. If you're a fat kid from Windsor with no degree, you don't speak French, and you're a guy's guy, you're not going anywhere. You're cannon fodder. Ford Nation has inherently been treated like shit. That's how they feel. They didn't get their fair share in life. They were rejected. They were deprived of love or of something. Fundamental core stuff." And in July, he called his shot. In a tweet, he said, quote, "Rob Ford will run and win in Ward 2. Doug Ford will run and lose the mayor's race. You heard it here first." In early September, Rob and Doug were sitting in a diner when Rob was hit by extreme stomach pains. After rushing to the hospital, Rob was diagnosed with an aggressive abdominal cancer. He'd need chemo as soon as possible. On the day of the registration deadline, the family scrambled to enact Plan B, making it to the elections office within an hour of the deadline and having to borrow the registration fee from a friend who just happened to be there. Rob would now be running for his old council seat. His nephew Michael, who was going to run for council, would now run for the school board. And Doug, who had previously decided he would be leaving city politics, would run for mayor in his brother's place. This is a very rare case where two candidates were seen by the electorate as essentially identical. Their voting records were basically the same, and while Rob polled a little better with immigrants and Doug a little better with women, most voters viewed Doug as a pseudo-incumbent. However, campaign finance law did not. Doug was not allowed to use any of the money donated to Rob up to that point. Although they did get many new donations from the public, the Ford family personally donated $790,000 to Doug's campaign just to keep it alive. The final month of the election, Doug spent most of his energy attacking Tory, highlighting all the past elections when voters had told him no. He called Tory a member of the elite, which he was. But for Doug, with his custom-tailored suits and gold chains, this avenue of attack only went so far. This was not an election about policy. This was a referendum on the Ford family. Polling showed that when asked to rank the three major candidates on different issues, Doug was the winner in all 5 categories. And yet when asked about the favorability of each candidate, Doug was as polarized as you can get. You either adored him, or you really, really could not stand him. On election day, voter turnout hits a record high of 55%. The map is unlike anything we've seen so far. Tory wins with 40%, painting an upside-down T-shape along the lakeshore and up through North York. Doug, in second, gets around a third of the vote by dominating the corners of Etobicoke and Scarborough. And Chow comes in well behind in third place with 23%, but she does take a few of the downtown wards. In the years since, there has been much myth-making about what would have happened if Rob hadn't dropped out of the race. How he definitely would have won if he stayed in. That Doug was not nearly as well liked as he was. None of the exit polling supports this. Rob may have won a couple percent more than his brother, but in basically every hypothetical poll, Tory always wins. It was a new day in Toronto, but that didn't mean the end of Ford Nation overnight. Rob was elected to his old council seat with 59% of the vote, more than 5 times his nearest opponent. A movement like that doesn't just disappear. "2014 is often thought of as a major course correction in Toronto's politics, but in reality there was significant continuity between Rob Ford and John Tory. Just take a look at council. 37 of 44 incumbents ran for re-election. Only one of them lost. There were only 7 new faces on council, and every single one of them had won in vacant seats. And so, much of Team Blue remained in positions of power. Rob's agenda of austerity, privatization, and tax cuts remained in some form or another under Tory. The difference was, he was a bland, uncontroversial face that made those things palatable. He even continued to use the procedural technique pioneered by Rob's staff, locking in the property tax rate first so that it couldn't be changed later. It led to 8 years of tax increases barely keeping up with inflation, and sometimes well below it, depriving the city of funds, deferring much-needed infrastructure repair, while still somehow always giving the cops the budget increases they asked for. The Tory era is pretty unremarkable because he was a notorious people pleaser. A former staffer of his once joked that given the choice between winning an election and winning the endorsement of the Toronto Star's editorial board, he'd have to think hard about it. He'd happily approve studies and pilot projects, but rarely get around to implementing anything permanent. His campaign's flagship transit plan, SmartTrack, started out as a pitch to build 22 new rail stations, but over the course of a decade it's been scaled back to just 3, and none of them are finished as of this writing. It doesn't make for an inspiring legacy, but it did lead to success at the ballot box. John Tory was able to cruise through 2 re-election campaigns in 2018 and 2022. On both occasions, his closest opponent was simply a protest vote. When asked, most voters couldn't even name a candidate other than Tory. He had lived up to his implicit promise. He was boring. His personal life wasn't making the headlines. The same could not be said for the councillor for Ward 2. From day one, Rob had settled back into his familiar role as the council contrarian, voting no on motions more so out of protest than any actual ideological reason. This was a more subdued Rob than before though. Fewer shouting matches, the sports betting pools had resumed. He'd show up regularly in a tracksuit. He would voice his symbolic opposition to Tory and his agenda, and he will continually say that he's running again for mayor in 2018. But I'm not sure many believed him. Throughout 2015, Rob had undergone chemo and surgery to remove his tumor. But in October, his doctor had found a second tumor, and by March 2016, it was clear that treatment was no longer effective. On March 22nd, Rob Ford passed away at age 46. The funeral was massive. Thousands showed up to pay their respects. An outpouring hadn't been seen like this in Toronto since the death of Jack Layton 5 years earlier, Rob's old seat buddy on council. The guy he respected more than anyone else, even though their politics were nothing alike. Like Jack, Rob represented the ultimate what-if to his supporters. What could he have accomplished if he hadn't died before his time? For many in the city, it was a complicated mix of emotions. Did they owe him and his family sympathy just because he died from cancer? Does that negate all the harm they felt he caused? Why was there suddenly a need for decorum now when he had made a career out of his lack of decorum? Rob's nephew Michael would go on to run for and easily win his seat, cementing the third generation of the Ford family dynasty. In the decades since his death, many have debated which of his accomplishments have stood the test of time. Some of these have evolved into persistent myths, like the claim he saved the city $1 billion. The city manager, Joe Penichetti, has refuted this on the grounds that it requires some very creative definitions of savings. And even if you insist on using those definitions, the previous mayor actually saved the city even more money. He privatized garbage collection in half the city, sure. But when John Tory tried to privatize the other half, council told him no. And eventually the public side had become cheaper. He took away the right to strike from transit workers, only for a judge to declare a decade later that was unconstitutional. Some people like to give him credit for subways, because of the embarrassingly long construction of the Eglinton LRT, which only opened in 2026, a 19-year wait since it was first funded. Eglinton, and its sister line Finch, have been plagued by various issues, some of which a subway simply would not have. But giving credit to Rob here is like giving credit to a guy because he wanted to order a steak instead of meatloaf. If you wanted the steak, you needed to find a way to pay for it. At the end of the day, whether you liked his policies or not, Rob was an ineffective mayor because he could not convince council to vote for most of them. His failure rate near the end of term surpassed 20%, while his successor barely went above 5%. No one was about to start a mutiny under John Tory. If he was leaving office, it would be on his own terms. Or not. Just months into his third term, the Toronto Star alleged that Tory had engaged in an affair with a staffer. Tory confirmed the story that day and announced he'd be resigning within a week. The boring man they elected to be boring got involved in a sex scandal. Toronto can't catch a break. The ensuing by-election was yet another record-breaking round of chaos with 102 candidates registering. To make a long story short, Olivia Chow emerged from political retirement to become the early frontrunner, but this time managed to retain that lead and win with 37% of the vote. It seems completely nonsensical that in just half a year or so, Toronto could go from electing John Tory for a landslide third term, only to turn around and hand the keys to a progressive like Chow. Consider this though, the 2022 election had a record low turnout of 29.2%. People don't engage with local politics when they assume the same guy who's been in charge for 8 years is running again, and serious challengers don't even bother running. But in the crowded by-election, Chow was by far the most well-known candidate. Her winning map is by far the most interesting one we've seen yet, with the downtown and suburban divide still there, but with critical wins for her in Scarborough. So how has Toronto changed under a mayor who's been called a socialist radical? Her committee appointments certainly shifted to the left as she expanded the executive from 9 up to 11. And for her first ever budget, she made the bold decision to burn her early political capital to raise property taxes by almost 10%, making up for 8 straight years of austerity under John Tory. Her approval polling, which started in the surprisingly high 70s, dropped a fair bit after the tax hike, but even then she remains in the mid-50s. But beyond the tax hike, she has mostly shied away from anything you could call especially radical. Like Tory, she wins votes around 95% of the time. Remember, this is the same council that was elected when John Tory won. The fact that both of them can work with the same council suggests they're not so far apart. Perhaps most significantly, like David Miller before her, Olivia Chow has been advocating for what she calls a New Deal for Toronto. Cities in Canada, and especially Ontario, are suffering financially. Both amalgamation and the downloading of services under Mike Harris have strapped cities with increased financial pressures without giving them increased financial autonomy. They continually have to rely on the property tax to solve most budget gaps, even when they're begging the province for more tools. Even tax-averse John Tory was willing to implement road tolls on the city's 2 major expressways, but got shut down by the province. Mind you, it's the city that owned and operated that infrastructure, and yet the province gets to decide how the city pays for it. Instead, the city has shifted the burden onto one-off fees like development charges. Between 2010 and 2024, inflation was 41%. While property taxes remained below inflation, development charges went up 993%. The worst in the province, which has no doubt contributed to Toronto's lack of new housing. The city is desperate for new revenue tools, but the province has only stepped up when external pressures became too overwhelming to ignore. Mainly, changes in technology that emerged almost overnight during the 2010s. Services like Uber and Airbnb, whose revenues were initially not being collected by the city because they were novel, unregulated business models. As of 2016 and 2018 respectively, City Council can now adjust both a rideshare and a municipal accommodation tax to capture some of that revenue they were otherwise missing out on. Because Canadian cities legally can't run deficits, there's this perception that on paper, they're in good financial health. But this is just a facade, one that was exposed by the mother of all unprecedented events. The COVID-19 pandemic hit Toronto harder than anywhere else in Canada. Toronto public health was worked to the brink. As people had to isolate and stay home, revenue from transit fares dropped substantially, and ridership still hasn't quite recovered to pre-pandemic levels. Shelters cost more to run in order to maintain social distancing. Property tax payments were delayed, and late fees and interest waived. Many user fees were not enforced, like parking, halted permits, and cancellation fees for recreation programs. The land transfer tax also shrank, as many people stopped buying new homes in the pandemic market. In short, while everything cost more, they were bringing in less and less money. And when they ran out of ways to pay for the budget shortfall, cities had to resort to layoffs. These were all necessary responses to a city in crisis, but as it came out the other side, it had a massive budget gap to fill. Toronto was only able to do so by getting emergency funding from the feds and the province, but also by significantly cutting services and putting off long-needed infrastructure repairs. If there's a consistent theme throughout all of Mega Toronto's mayors, it's that rather than make tough choices, it's easier to just kick a financial problem down the line and hope the next mayor is the one who has to take care of it. 2026 is an election year, and as of this writing, Chow will be running for re-election. After her first year in office, Olivia Chow significantly reined in her property tax increases. Technically speaking, and I do mean technically, no incumbent mayor has ever lost re-election, but her main opponents have come out swinging against her for raising property taxes. Cities like Toronto need new revenue tools. It's in this context that Olivia Chow came into office pushing for a new deal for Toronto. She was coming to the province in the hopes of forging a new way forward. She just needed a premier willing to work with her. When Doug Ford lost the race for mayor in 2014, everyone was asking him what his next move was. On paper, he said he was going back to being a private citizen and that he was done with local politics. Although he vowed that, quote, "I'm going to be on Tory's ass like a pit bull, just gnawing away at it." He has such a beautiful way with words. When Rob passed away, Doug gave the eulogy. Quote, "Rob may be gone, but Ford Nation remains. Ford Nation is about standing up to the political elite, the same old, wasted money, and unacceptable and unreachable leadership." Rob knew what this was all about. The question for the rest of us is what comes next. Many speculated that he wasn't truly done with politics, and that he would eventually take after his father and run for the provincial legislature. Although as late as November 2017, he said he would try running for mayor again in 2018. But a surprise bombshell caused the stars to align for him. The leader of the Ontario PCs was pressured to resign due to a sexual misconduct scandal the same year an election was scheduled. In the incredibly short 2-month time frame, Doug narrowly beat out a tough field of rivals by less than 1%. There was basically no question that the massively unpopular Liberal Party, which had been in power for 15 years, would be thrown out of office, and whoever was leading the PCs would be the next premier. It just happened to be Doug. Even though most of Toronto rejected the Fords, there were many parts of Ontario that happily embraced their message. Doug's campaign was like a greatest hits rerun of his brother's. Quote, "The party with the taxpayers' money is over." The province's slogan was even changed to "Open for Business." He continued the gimmick of his brother by giving out his personal cell phone number. The Ford family brand has always been customer service. As with Mike Harris, it's far beyond our scope to give a comprehensive overview of his time as premier, although I'm sure you can guess how I feel about most of it. Just like Mike Harris, though, Doug embarked on a massive restructuring of municipal government, instituting wide-ranging changes he never campaigned on. The first of which he got to work on immediately, in a move many viewed as an act of petty revenge. Within weeks, Doug rammed through the Better Local Government Act. Effective immediately, City Council would go from 44 wards to 25, cutting it in half. This, of course, had been the white whale that Rob tried to enact for his entire career. Under this new size, each councillor would represent over 110,000 residents each, which would make it the most lopsided ratio in the country. The timing was also incredibly pointed. The bill was put forward in the middle of an active campaign on the very last day for candidates to register. You could argue this disrupted the incumbent advantage, but all it really did was pit incumbents against other strong incumbents. A lawsuit was launched immediately, but as you surely know by now, constitutionally, Doug Ford could do whatever he wanted to the city, and there was not much they could do to stop him. When a court struck down his bill, he threatened to use the notwithstanding clause, which in Canada is essentially a nuclear-level veto. It was the first time Ontario had ever threatened to use it. And later, the Supreme Court ultimately ruled in a 5-4 decision that yes, the 25-seat council would have to stay. The case, known as Toronto versus Ontario, set a crushing precedent. The timing, and the fact that no other cities were affected, suggests this wasn't so much about cost savings or reducing dysfunction, but revenge specifically on Toronto for not electing him mayor 4 years earlier. Within a year of assuming office, he became public enemy number 1 in the city. It's become a bit of a running joke that Doug isn't Premier of Ontario, he's Premier of Toronto. Years ago, the city humiliated him by crushing his dreams of directing the waterfront redevelopment. But now he has unchecked power to micromanage Toronto like he's playing Sim City, customizing his own personal lakefront entertainment district. Ontario Place, a public island slated for redevelopment, was handed over to an Austrian spa company with a 95-year lease. The city's popular science center was unceremoniously closed down and set to be relocated to the island. He's talked about building a 2 million square foot convention center, which would involve creating a new artificial island. And to ensure a steady stream of travelers, he's taken over the city's small island airport by designating it as, quote, a special economic zone. The airport sees 2 million passengers a year, and his goal is to multiply that by 5. Speaking of traffic, his solution for unclogging Highway 401, literally the busiest highway in North America, is to dig a tunnel under it. This is estimated to cost over $100 billion and would take decades to complete. At least when it comes to subways, he's put his money where his mouth is. The province is funding much of the new downtown relief line. In all these cases, City Council can't do much of anything other than complain. The only area he's been thwarted on is bike lanes. His government passed a law stating that not only can they block the construction of new bike lanes across the province, but that 3 streets in Toronto must rip them out at a cost of nearly $50 million. Although currently pending an appeal, a judge ruled this unconstitutional because it would needlessly endanger cyclists. But Doug's municipal meddling has extended far beyond Toronto. It seems like every week a new thing is added to the list, a new way for him to micromanage cities and towns. It should be noted that he and his party did not campaign on any of these promises. In 2018, cities were granted the right to use any voting system they wanted for their own elections. London, Ontario used ranked choice voting exactly once before Doug took that away. Some parts of Ontario have regional councils which oversee areas comprised of multiple towns and cities. Not only have the size of these councils been slashed just like Toronto's, but the head of these councils, the chairs, have been changed from elected positions to political appointees. Much in the same way, he's taken direct control of the province's largest school boards. This is notable because locally, people vote for their school board trustees. Not only have trustees had most of their power taken away, the Toronto District School Board has been forced to eliminate nearly half of their trustees specifically. Transit fares, which have always been set by the cities themselves, are now in control of the Minister of Transportation. Then there was the banning of municipal speed cameras. Their job is to catch drivers going over the limit, but Doug has forced cities to shut them down, calling them, quote, a tax grab. He's also mandated the privatization of key city services. Recycling across Ontario is now handled by a private consortium, and water delivery, which has long been a public utility, might soon be handed over to private corporations. And finally, the most significant change, and the one Doug had talked about for years on his radio show with his brother, the strong mayor powers. As a councillor, Doug was a big fan of the veto powers big city US mayors had, like in Chicago. If a bill is passed that the mayor doesn't support, they can veto it as long as they have the support of 1/3 of council. But there is a key difference with the Canadian system. In the US, big city mayors are separate from city council. But in Toronto, the mayor is not just a member of council, but an integral part of it, often leading much of its proceedings. In theory, a mayor could introduce a bylaw and pass it with just 1/3 of the votes, which in Toronto is the mayor's vote plus 8 more, and 8 just happens to be the size of the mayor's hand-picked executive committee. There is one catch, however. Any bylaws passed with 1/3 must align with the priorities of the provincial government, which at the time was loosely defined as building new housing and infrastructure. So in other words, the strong mayor powers were only useful if the mayor was aligned with Doug Ford. It cannot be overstated just how unprecedented this is. Although modeled after the powers given to US mayors, this change has actually made Ontario mayors some of the strongest in the world. John Tory later admitted he met privately with Doug to ask for these powers. Although the veto got the most attention, the bill consolidated power in the mayor's office in several other ways. Now the mayor's office drafts the budget on its own, rather than through a committee. They can now directly fire and hire key city staff like the city manager and department heads. Initially just given to Toronto and Ottawa, by 2025 the strong mayor powers have been rolled out to over 200 Ontario municipalities. Unlike Toronto City Council, the Ontario legislature very much runs on a strict party system. Within a party, you can whip votes and threaten the backbenchers who don't fall in line. And Doug has shown he's more than willing to kick people out of his caucus if they go rogue, which includes members on the far right of his party. This is one thing that often surprises people about Doug. He has plenty of friends on the left side of the aisle and plenty of enemies on the right. In his book, Doug has far nicer things to say about lefty David Miller than he does John Tory, who he considers a weak-willed flip-flopper. This was an outlook he shared with his late brother. The Fords may not agree with you, but they'll sure as hell respect you if you stick to your guns. Ironically, the strong mayor powers were introduced because of an alliance with John Tory, someone ideologically aligned with Doug. However, thanks to Tory's surprise resignation, Doug was suddenly faced with the prospect of a left-wing mayor in Olivia Chow, whose win he described as, quote, an unmitigated disaster. But Chow, like many other mayors, has vowed not to use the powers out of principle. And on top of that, Chow has been able to negotiate far more concessions out of Doug than Tory ever did. As part of her New Deal for Toronto, Chow successfully got the province to upload the maintenance of the Don Valley Parkway and the Gardiner Expressway, infrastructure costs that have freed up almost $1.9 billion for the city's budget in the next decade. Doug has demonstrated clear political instincts, having won 3 straight majorities, something that hasn't been done in Ontario since the 1950s. His most recent win in 2025 demonstrated his ability to read the room perfectly, calling a snap election as the trade war with the US escalated. When they both came to power in the late 2010s, many comparisons were made between Donald Trump and Doug Ford, both populists with an off-the-cuff manner of speaking, and both known for their huge outdoor rallies. These similarities have always been a bit surface level. Although, Doug once said, quote, God bless the president, and don't get me wrong, full disclosure, I'm a big Republican. But all of that was out the window when Trump started laying down tariffs. Suddenly, Doug became Captain Canada, threatening to tear up a Starlink contract, halting all sales of US alcohol, and paying millions to air an ad featuring Ronald Reagan speaking out against tariffs. During the brief period where Justin Trudeau had announced his intention to resign, you could make a case that Doug was the most powerful politician in the country. The tough on Trump stance propelled him and his party to victory. This is in contrast to the federal Conservative Party, which failed to capitalize on this in the same way and ended up blowing a polling lead of nearly 20%. He likes to play coy with the media, but there are always persistent rumors that Doug has his eye on the Prime Minister's office one day. Or, maybe he just decided for fun that he wanted to learn French at age 60. Ford Nation has outlasted pretty much everyone's expectations. In July 2025, Toronto City Council passed a controversial vote. It came after a contentious debate on whether to allow the construction of sixplexes across the city. The decision? A watered-down compromise. They'd be allowed in just a third of the city's wards, i.e. the ones where the councillors had opted in. With the exception of one Scarborough ward, it was yet again the downtown versus the suburbs. The same division that has defined the megacity since amalgamation. Oh yeah, because it didn't get approved citywide, Toronto was also going to lose out on around $10 million in housing funding from the feds. Canada, if you haven't heard, is in a housing crisis. Toronto has one of the least affordable housing markets in the country. Its skyline is one of stark contrast. Massive towers on the side of the lakeshore, surrounded mostly by a sea of single-family houses. A middle ground, like fourplexes and sixplexes, would help add some much-needed density. But many councillors rejected the rezoning of sixplexes on the grounds it would disrupt their neighborhoods. On paper, this was just one vote of dozens that occur each week at City Hall, but its significance should not be overlooked. If there was a real test of the strong mayor powers, it was this. Olivia Chow was personally in favor of sixplexes citywide, and with 9 councillors on board, their 10 votes could have passed it with the 1/3 threshold. Housing, after all, is a clearly defined provincial priority. And does Chow not have a mandate to represent the city as a whole, rather than individual neighborhoods? She received 269,000 votes, more than any other politician currently in office. Surely, she should get some extra say. On the flip side, using the powers would likely have blown up Chow's coalition. Not only would she have broken her promise not to use the powers, but there's no guarantee those 9 councillors would vote with her if she tried to use them. Some of them might abstain or even vote against her just on principle. There's a loophole in the law where if a council session fails to meet quorum of 50% attendance, the vote can't go forward. If her opponents ran off in protest, it would be a field day in the media and she'd be painted as power hungry. She's damned if she does, damned if she doesn't. Doug Ford gave her a poisoned chalice. In the couple years since the strong mayor powers have been granted, most Ontario mayors have taken a stance similar to Chow's. Because the powers were rolled out mostly as a surprise in the middle of a term, 2026 is the first time most Ontario residents will get to vote for a mayor with the powers in mind. Mayors of cities, towns, both big and small, have declined the powers or opted to delegate them to their council, or their city manager. The most cited reason is they don't want to undermine the spirit of compromise with the rest of council. It's not universal though. In 2 high-profile cases, the mayor of Hamilton and the mayor of Mississauga both broke tied votes on housing issues after previously stating they would not use the powers. Although most criticism has been directed at the veto power, many mayors and councillors have also raised concerns about the ability to so easily hire and fire city staff. What is likely to happen is an echo chamber environment, where a mayor surrounds themselves with partisan yes-men, an effect that is amplified in small towns, where there's only a handful of administrative staff. There is a good case to be made that Canadians actually want their mayors to have more powers. Big city mayors are voted in by more people than any other elected position in the country. They probably should have more influence than just one vote. But the powers as they are now aren't a reflection of what voters want. They're what Doug Ford wants. When council stripped his brother of most of his authority, in his eyes, that was not the system of checks and balances working as intended. That was a coup orchestrated by independent contractors. Rob was the city's CEO. In his view, Rob should have been allowed to serve a full 4 years doing whatever he wanted. That's their family's way. Government as a business. And the Fords had a strict no refunds policy. Regardless of your political leanings, why bother with local government if it can be steamrolled so easily by the province? Why even bother of going through the song and dance of voting for city councillors at all? Almost 20 years ago, when David Miller negotiated the City of Toronto Act with the province, it was seen as a big step forward in local government. The act recognized Toronto's right to organize itself as it saw fit, a first-of-its-kind city charter. But as Doug Ford proved when he cut city council in half, unless it is enshrined in the Constitution, a city charter has no standing. When Canada's Constitution was first written, it was done so in 1867. At the time, Canada was a loose collection of distant provinces, not even connected by rail yet. 80% of Canadians lived in remote rural areas. They didn't see a need to enshrine cities or towns in the Constitution. But a century and a half later, it's completely inverted. 80% of Canadians live in urban areas. 1 in 10 of them live in Toronto. Cities do more for you on a day-to-day basis than any other level of government. Rather than ask if our mayors should be more powerful, maybe we should start with our cities. Walter Baker was a member of Parliament from 1972 to 1983. I don't expect you to know that name. He's not exactly a major political figure. He was the House leader during the comically short-lived government of Joe Clark. That government collapsed during an infamous no-confidence vote that they lost in an incredibly close 6-vote margin, when 3 members of their own caucus were either sick or traveling. Though not really the person who should shoulder much of the blame, Walter Baker is often remembered through the mocking phrase, "Walter Baker couldn't count." He continued to serve as an MP until his death in 1983. I only know all this because I googled it one day and found a Wikipedia entry barely even 1 page long. Walter Baker for most of my life was not a person. Walter Baker was a building. Near my house was the Walter Baker Sports Center. It's where I learned how to swim, how to skate, where I played squash, attended summer camps. It's the building I passed through most days to get to my high school, and where I'd borrow books from the library. It's also the place I voted for the very first time. A year after he died, a motion was put forward in City Council to rename the Centennial Park Football Stadium after Rob Ford. With the scandal still fresh in their minds, Council voted 11-24 to reject the proposal. 6 years later, in 2023, the same motion was put forward. This time, it passed, 17-6. A few decades from now, there may be a generation of Toronto kids that have no idea who Rob Ford is, as unlikely as that sounds. But I'm willing to bet this field will still be there, and his name will still be on that sign. Hey, have you seen 17 Pages, my most ambitious documentary yet? 17 Pages tells the story of one of the largest controversies in modern American science. It covers a decade-long investigation and a tangled web of lab mice, Nobel laureates, and congressmen. We were able to film interviews on location, commission some amazing art, and most importantly, it uses a custom software feature developed from the ground up to help me tell the story. 17 Pages is a project I wrote, directed, and animated with Nebula in mind, and without them, it simply would not have gotten made. I've been making documentaries full-time for over 3 years now, and fans like you supporting me on Nebula has been a big part of why I've been able to do that. They're a creator-owned streaming service where I premiere all my videos 2 weeks early. It's completely ad-free and home to a ton of exclusive content by some of the best creators on the internet. Personally, I've been watching a lot of Abolish Everything, a live comedy show where contestants give exaggerated speeches about why we should abolish different things from society. There's also Scav, a documentary about the crazy elaborate scavenger hunt that takes place every year at the University of Chicago. If you sign up using my link, you can get a 50% discount on an annual subscription, which is just $250 a month. Or if you want to take the plunge, you can get a lifetime subscription for $300. Either way, a significant chunk of that money goes directly to me for as long as you're subscribed, which will help me make bigger and better documentaries. Support me and other independent creators by signing up for Nebula today. As always, thanks for watching.